Something strange is happening in Afghanistan. Ever since the Taliban regained power in the summer of 2021, tourism in the country has been rising steadily, year after year. In 2021, the very year the Taliban returned through a stunning military offensive, only 691 people from abroad dared to visit as tourists. Before we dive deeper into this story, make sure to subscribe to our channel, Strategic Brief, for the most in-depth updates on global news, geopolitics, and fascinating stories you won't hear anywhere else. And hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. By 2022, that number had more than tripled, reaching roughly 2,300 visitors. And in 2023, it tripled again to about 7,000. In 2024, tourism continued its upward trajectory with around 9,000 visitors. Astonishingly, in just the first 3 months of 2025, more than 3,000 tourists had already arrived, exceeding the total for 2022. This surge is setting Afghanistan on track to break previous records, marking 4 consecutive years of tourism growth since the Taliban's reconquest. The Taliban themselves are pushing this trend with promotional tourism campaigns. Their ads are striking, inviting Westerners to experience Afghanistan's landscapes. One ad boldly states, "Welcome to Afghanistan." Despite this, most Western governments, including the US and UK, still maintain the highest travel advisories, warning their citizens to avoid Afghanistan entirely. So why are so many people still visiting? And why is the Taliban, a regime known for its strict and reclusive policies, encouraging Westerners to come? The answer partly lies in Afghanistan's breathtaking natural beauty. The country is home to soaring mountains, vast valleys, and crystal-clear lakes. One notable spot is Band-e Amir National Park, Afghanistan's first national park, established in 2009 during the US occupation. Its shimmering blue waters contrast dramatically with surrounding cliffs, earning it comparisons to America's Grand Canyon. However, under the Taliban, this park is restricted. Afghan women are banned from visiting entirely. Only men are allowed, highlighting the country's gender-based restrictions. Historically, Afghanistan attracted Westerners through the famous hippie trail during the 1950s to the 70s. Thousands of European travelers passed through the country on their way to India and Thailand. But this era ended with political upheaval. The Communist Revolution in 1978, Iran's Islamic Revolution in 1979, and the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan that same year. Decades of warfare followed. When the Taliban first took control in the 1990s, tourism plummeted. Yet Afghanistan has an immense cultural and historical appeal. One of its most iconic treasures were the Bamiyan Buddhas, 2 enormous statues carved into the mountains near Kabul. Standing at 38 and 55 meters, these statues were among the tallest in the world for over 1,500 years. Buddhism had flourished in Afghanistan for over a millennium until Islamic and Mongol invasions. Despite the religious shift, the statues were tolerated until the Taliban rose to power. In 2001, the Taliban destroyed these ancient monuments. The reasons remain debated. Some say Osama bin Laden and Al-Qaeda influenced the decision to isolate the Taliban from the world. Others argue Mullah Omar acted out of spite, frustrated by international offers to restore statues while Afghan people suffered from hunger. Despite global outcry from the UN, Pakistan, India, and Japan, the Taliban systematically obliterated the Buddhas using artillery and explosives. The destruction was complete. Today, the site remains a popular tourist destination, but its historical potential was forever lost. Tourism was further undermined in the 1990s due to environmental exploitation. Wealthy Gulf Arabs would come to hunt endangered birds, including the Asian houbara, while the Taliban turned a blind eye. Wildlife populations never fully recovered, diminishing Afghanistan's potential for ecotourism. After decades of conflict, the Taliban's return in 2021 brought a grim form of stability. Violence dropped, insurgency ceased, and the country became relatively safer than during previous decades of war. Yet the Taliban reimposed harsh restrictions on women. Public parks, gyms, and schools became male-only spaces. Beauty salons shut down. Girls were banned from education past the 6th grade. Women were barred from most employment, and strict dress codes and segregation were enforced. Women could not leave their homes without a male guardian. This oppressive system ironically creates a kind of male-only tourism environment. Male tourists are allowed to interact only with Afghan men, while foreign women face fewer restrictions. They are usually only required to wear a headscarf and can access parks and other areas. For the Taliban, tourism serves a dual purpose. It brings in hard currency to ease economic strain under sanctions and improves the regime's international image through curated social media coverage by visiting influencers. Despite the risks, Afghanistan under the Taliban is not as restrictive as North Korea. Tourists are generally free to move around as long as they follow local laws, and the risk of violence is comparatively low. Yet threats remain. The Islamic State Khorasan Province, or ISK, opposes the Taliban and has attacked tourists, including the killing of 3 Spanish visitors in 2024. Western tourists often hire armed security when leaving Kabul. Costs range from a few $100s a week for a local armed driver to thousands for armored vehicles in dangerous areas. Some tourists have even been detained arbitrarily by the Taliban, highlighting ongoing risks. Visa processes are surprisingly straightforward. Tourist visas can be acquired through the Taliban's consulate in Dubai, and flights to Kabul operate from Dubai and Istanbul multiple times per week. Travelers must, however, accept the risks of being at the mercy of the Taliban and local conditions. Looking ahead, tourism may grow alongside the Taliban's legitimacy. Russia recognized the Taliban government in July 2025, the first country to do so, raising their flag at the Afghan embassy in Moscow. Other countries have followed with diplomatic missions, improving the Taliban's global standing. This recognition paves the way for increased tourism, foreign investment, and hard currency inflows, helping the Taliban navigate sanctions. For modern travelers, staying connected is essential. eSIM services, like SY, provide affordable data across 160 countries, including Afghanistan, without expensive roaming fees. For example, 10 gigabytes in Afghanistan costs $36, while data in Japan can cost as little as $11 for 5 gigabytes. In conclusion, Afghanistan under the Taliban is a paradox. The country offers unmatched natural beauty and historical intrigue while remaining one of the most restrictive and isolated nations on Earth. Tourism exists not despite the Taliban's rule, but because of a calculated balance of risk, adventure, and economic strategy. For those willing to venture in, Afghanistan is both a journey into history and a stark lesson in geopolitics, ideology, and survival. The question remains, as the Taliban's legitimacy grows, will tourism continue to expand, and at what cost?